Hello and welcome everybody to task number 4 of this UAE Hike and Fly Championship. We are again in beautiful Al Fayah mountain in the Emirate of Sharjah. In a matter of minutes, the athletes will start the fourth and last task of this beautiful race. First of all, let me apologize for the slight lack of communication of the end of the last live on task 3. Yes, we did have two minor crashes during last 3. Mexican Eduardo Gaza, where it was sliding on some rocks just after takeoff, and he reported minor injuries. He was still transported to the hospital for further checks, but he's doing all right. And Steve Bremfit was flying very, very fast, full bar, quite close to the ridge, had a massive collapse, which he could not control, and so he ended up hitting the ridge. He as well was carried to the nearest hospital, and tomorrow he will be taken back to Switzerland, where he will go under further checks. But so far, we have news that he's also doing all right. Maybe suspected compressions of some vertebra, but he will be doing fine very, very soon. So said that, let's go straight into the action. We have the pilots almost ready on the starting line. Within a few minutes, they will start with this task 4. Same arena as the last time. So we are on Al Fayah Ridge. But today, the turn points were positioned a little bit further away from the actual ridge. Winds are forecasted to be pretty much stronger than 2 days ago, and putting the waypoints more far out in the desert will force the pilots to fly a little bit higher and a little bit further from the ridge, and that will make definitely the task of today safer. Again, this organization is keeping in very, very great consideration. Its main concern is to keep these pilots safe, but as well, these are very competitive guys. They are athletes. They run as fast as they can. They fly as fast as they can, and every one of them is willing to take their own risk to go as fast as they can. Once again, let's go straight into the action. We are ready to start with task 4. The athletes are already lining up, so I will leave you to Stefano, who is giving the signal to the start.
3, 2, 1, go!
And the guys started. They are already running in the sand. They're running to the first takeoff, which is going to happen above the dune, just like yesterday. But after that, they will have to fly again along the ridge, keeping a little bit more far outside to reach 2 turn points further out in the desert. Flies back south, so it's going to be takeoff, turn point 1, which is a little bit north from the start, turn point 2, which is at the very far north end, and then back to turn point 1. Then turn point 3 is at the very far south, and then they will have to land in the desert a couple kilometers out from the ridge, so they will have to make maximum altitude before heading out towards the desert. Once they land, they will have to sign a signboard, run back to the start, sign a second signboard, and from there they will be allowed to kite up the dune again, and they will have to do everything once again. So fly all the way to the north, all the way to the south, and then heading out into the desert and coming back for landing near the starting line. You can see pilots running. They are really putting all of their energy. They're giving their 110% on this very, very hot and soft sand. Today, the temperatures are even higher than 2 days ago. We are well over 30 degrees Celsius, so the environment will definitely be very, very hard to run into. As well, the sand makes it, as probably all of you know, very hard to run. But these guys fear nothing. They're just holding up this sand dune. First group is already almost halfway. They will have to pass the next flag, and from the next flag on, they will be allowed to kite up to the sand dune if they want to. We will see if some athletes will decide to actually kite up the hill, or if all of them will decide to just run. The wind today, again, is pretty strong. It's pretty much stronger than 2 days ago, so probably kiting up will be the fastest option. But we will see that in minutes. We can see the athletes are hiking now. First group is still running. They passed the first flag, so they can, from there on, decide to take their wings out and kite to the top of the hill. But apparently, yeah, and we can see this, the group splitting. Some of them are unpacking the gliders just after the flag. Some others are keeping on running. So we'll see who will be faster. And from the top of the dune, we will soon see the first athletes reaching the second flag. But I see now most of them are opening the wind. They probably feel the wind is getting pretty strong, and so they want to take advantage of it and try and get up to the hill as fast as possible. Again, today's task can see some waypoints a little bit further out in the desert, as you can see from this reconstruction. So the athletes will have to fly higher on the ridge in order to win into the wind, against the wind, and get further out to tag this big cylinder turn point. The route will go first to the north, and then they will come back to the south to turn point 4 that you can see now in the screen. And after that, they will have to land into the desert a couple kilometers away from the starting point. They will have to run back to the starting point and then do it all over again. And we are looking now at the first athletes kiting their gliders up to the hill. They are amazing pilots with amazing ground handling skills, so they can do this very, very fast. And yes, you are right. Ground handling skills are a must for every paragliding pilot, and even more important for this kind of level that we have here. We have 24 among the most high level skilled pilots in the whole world. And we can see the first athletes are about to reach the top now. They are cutting along the ridge of the sand dune, and they will be off very, very soon. All right, let's go to Guy. Let's see if you can see who is coming, Guy.
That's Tommy Friedrich in the front.
Right, we have Tommy in the front. He is currently at position number 2.
And then Krigo right behind him. And then Tanguy right behind. So we have the 3 pilots there in the front of the race already starting in front. That's Tommy here. But good race, buddy. That's Krigo. Sorry. Tanguy next. Got it.
Yes, very, very good, Guy. We are looking at the athletes taking off. We can definitely see that the wind is stronger than 2 days ago. And so they will really need to fly fast to get as fast as they can against the wind to the next turn points. And we were just before showing Tim Alongi, the master of the dune. He's now taking off. And we were just briefly showing
Patrick Foncano.
Very good, Patrick.
Step Inninger.
Very good. And as
Marcus Anders, kiting really close from the ground here. Spectacular flying, really soaring the dune. Now the guys are already gaining altitude without having to turn much. That's Stanislav Mayer now.
Great, and
Nico,
it's Nick
Michael
Donini
Siegel,
following.
Michael Siegel and Nick Tonini catching a bomb and just really going up without much.
Again, this is not just ridge soaring. This place is also producing pretty strong and turbulent turbulence. So these pilots today will take advantage of them to climb
Team
as fast as
Rochas
they can.
and Pesto just cruising here now. Team Rochas and Pesto. Now Antoine Girard.
Antoine was coming in second 2 days ago in this same place just after Kriegel, and so we will see what he's going to do
Here now.
today.
Right behind now we have still Michi and Nick Nayan, Tom Payne.
So
One more person that I can't spot.
basically almost all of the pilots have already taken off for the first part of this task 4 at the UAE Hike&Fly Championship. It's very beautiful to be in this place because we can actually follow the action live from the ground. We can see the pilots flying along the ridge, and you can see that the first head group is already heading to the north. They will have to tag a couple waypoints which are a little bit further out on into the desert, so they will need to make maximum altitude above the ridge before heading out. Otherwise, it will be very hard to keep the altitude and come back. This was made again for maximum safety today, as to try and force the athlete to fly not as close to the ground as 2 days ago. And we have a lot of support from you guys from home. We will just show now the current ranking updated to this morning, so that is updated before this race. We can see that in the first positions we have Tanguy Renault God. Then Tommy Friedrich is currently in second position, but today he is leading. So if he closes first, this will be probably ensured win. And then we have Mara and Tommy and Mara. They are actually second ex aequo at the moment. So the one who will make better today will be a main candidate for winning the whole event. But not too far. There are also very, very strong pilots following. Sepp, Iniger, Michael Siegel, Aaron. They're all very, very good pilots. So the race is still long. And what is going to happen today will determine the final ranking. And we are looking again at the overall ranking so far. And we're already looking at the beautiful mountain from the desert. This is the point where the athletes will have to land. We can see them flying very far away in this shot, but we can see some of them are already pretty high. They will probably keep the altitude in order to fly as fast as they can. And again, from the dune, we have the last pilot taking off right now. And so everybody is airborne, and they will now fly full bar to the end, to the north end of this ridge. Lots of support from everywhere in the world. Thank you, guys. And hello, everybody. And thank you for watching today. This is the last task of the UAE Hike&Fly Championship. And we will today see who is going to win the overall event. And this was the first Hike&Fly competition held in the United Arab Emirates. We've seen some crazy things going on. We had people taking off from the top of a building on beautiful Dubai Marina. And we've had some real mountain flying on the highest mountain of the United Arab Emirates. And today, yes, 2 days ago and today, we are here in this beautiful mountain ridge in the middle of the desert, where we will see who is going to win this first edition of the UAE Hike&Fly Championship.
But you see how low they are. They are extremely low. I don't think they're gonna make it. It is possible, it's not enough, but since they have the wind in their back now, it is an advantage. So you see every pilot that get to the point and turn around, it has an extreme speed compared to the one that still needs to touch the point. So the strong wind today is making a really big difference, and we can see with our own eyes the differences between pilots going out with the wind in the head, touching the point, and the pilots coming back. We already have a few of them coming back really low, but really fast, and they will be able to climb. 1, 2.
And again, today is going to be a difficult and technical day because of the strong winds. Pilots will really have to struggle to go against a 30-kilometer-per-hour wind to tag the waypoints, which are a few kilometers outside into the desert. So we will really see what strategy they are going to use today. If they will, it's very easy to get too low and then they will have to hike back and take off again. So today, height, altitude will be safety from a physical point of view and also from a sportive point of view. And again, today we still have relief maps showing us the actual position of the athletes that are flying the ridge. We can see they're getting pretty high above the ridge now. They found some thermals. Some of them are turning to gain maximum altitude before launching, before taking their gliders to maximum speed towards the next turn points. And as usual, remember to follow us on Instagram at UAE Hike&Fly Championship, where you can find updated information and great quality content of to this week race. Not only in live tracking, we are looking at the pilots flying live from the desert. It's very hard to spot them now because they are pretty far away, but you can see in the left corner, in the left side of this image, the farthest point that they will have to reach before coming back. They will have then to go on the other side, far south end of the ridge, and then come out to this point from where we are filming and land. They will have to sign aboard here, then run a couple of kilometers back to the starting point. Well, they will have to sign a second board, and then they will be allowed to kite up the dune and do it all over again. So if you want to follow the action live, you can go on reliefmaps.io and you can see where the pilots are at. I will show it now on screen. This is the link at which you can access this beautiful 3D reconstruction. And you can see the pilots now going out to tag turn point 1. You can see they have to struggle against the wind now, so they needed to make maximum altitude before heading straight to the turn point 1. And again, this turn point choice was shared together with the pilots in order to try and force them to fly a little bit higher on this rocky ridge, which we saw 2 days ago, being pretty hard to deal with when you're flying very close to the ground. And the first pilots have now tagged turn point 1, so they will now go back to the ridge and try and go as fast as possible to turn point 2, which is the one you can see now on the top left corner of the screen in the distance. And we are following the action live again from the first landing point here in the middle of the desert. Today, temperatures are really high. It is winter here in the Emirates, but it's very comparable to a very warm summer in Europe. So for these guys, it will be pretty hard to run even just a couple of kilometers back. They will need to be hydrated, to keep hydrated, and they will need to keep their pace steady and their body under control as they run back to the starting line. And now you can see pilots going back to the ridge. They will need to climb again a little bit more in order to head to the next turn point. And this is what it was all about. After turn point 2, they will have to go back to turn point 1. So we are keeping the athletes forced to get out from the ridge, so they will have to fly higher if they want to optimize their speed and trajectories to complete the route as fast as possible. The group is still pretty compact. They're flying very close together. This makes it even easier to understand the best lines and to understand the conditions, because you can look at the pilots just around you. And from the starting point, we will soon see the athletes coming back from turn point 2, heading south to the other side of the ridge. Today's race will be probably a little bit longer than the last task, given the fact that the turn points are a little bit further away from the mountain. But still, it will be a pretty quick one because these guys are flying very, very fast. And we will see if they will make different choices in a while to get to the next turn points, or if they will keep in a very close group to take advantage of the fact that you can look at the others and gather information about the air and about the turbulence.
Abbiamo tutto, eccoci qua. Adesso passiamo la musica, perché ti volevo appunto informare del fatto che i piloti si vedono veramente the pilots, all the pilots, you can see them from here. It's really easy to see them and they're very far away, and the difference between the speed and the altitude is creating so many options for strategy. You can see the wind is crossed and is pretty strong today, so whenever they try to go out and touch the turn point, they go really, really slow, and when they're coming back from the turn point, they go really fast. And decision making, so will you leave the turn point early, later on? This is the altitude that they choose to leave the turn point or to go and tag the next one. It makes a big difference. Some people were in the front, were too high, they lose time actually climbing more than enough, and now they're a little bit behind. It will be very interesting today to see which strategy will pay off and who is going to be the first UAE Hike&Fly champion here from Dubai.
Very good. Yes, it will be very interesting. Again, it looks like a simple task, but we've said this every time so far, and every time it ended up surprising all of us, because the pilots did make choices, did use different strategies, and so it will be interesting to see how it will turn out. It will be a close win for the overall winner. Yes, it is true. We are showing now the current overall ranking, and now you can see the mood at the starting point. Lots of people watching here live from the UAE. You can see the beautiful prizes. We have given task prizes to every athlete every day, and as well as the overall prizes for the winners. And for people who are asking, this is the current ranking given by the sum of the points of tasks 1, 2, 3. We have Tanguy on the lead, just from 1 point from the second and third, which are Tommy Friedrich and Kriegel Maurer. They are a second tie, following just 1 point from the first. And the gap is getting a little bit bigger then, but we still have Sepp and Michel and Aaron within just 10 points. So the race of today will really be important to decide which one is going to be the winner. But just even from a little bit further back, we have people which could do very well today, and they could rise the ranking pretty quickly. So we'll just let you see all of it now. We will very soon see the athletes coming back to the takeoff dune after tagging turn point 1 for the second time. So they're going to do 1, 2, 1, then come back to the takeoff, and then they're going to head to turn point 3 and 4, which are south. And again, they will have to then land in the middle of the desert and run back to the start before doing it all over again.
Is the head of the race now is the one that takes more risk. He's taking much more risk. In this moment, Fiore, we are here looking at the pilots coming back already from turn point 1 from the second scheme. You can clearly see them. They're going close to the rocky area, and then they will climb all the way to the right before they go into the desert. I was saying this is a very risky moment. They decided to come really low, and definitely the first pilot are the ones that are taking more risk. Will this risk pay off, or will they land before and they will need to hike? Today, with this strong crossed wing, everything can happen. It's crazy.
Yes, Stefano, this is true. They will have to every time they go out to tag the turn point and back in. They take the risk to not making it back, and then if they bomb out, they will have to hike up to a takeoff and start again, and that will make them lose really a lot of time. So they will really have to be careful on deciding when to start going out before coming back. And we can see the pilots are now coming back again towards the starting position, and they will very soon pass by us. We can see the first one already passing by. It's Kriegel. It's Kriegel Maurer now in first position. He's coming back towards heading south to go and tag turn point 3 and 4. So for the people who are asking the link for the relief map, you can find it now in the comment section on the right. It's reliefmaps.io. And we're looking at the head group flying just over the starting line. They will now fly very fast far south to go and tag turn point 3 and 4 before heading in the middle of the desert, a couple kilometers away from the rocky ridge, and they will land in the middle of the desert and have to run back to the starting point.
Like a bunch of fighter jets, they're now coming on top of our head with the maximum speed, going to the next turn point, number 3 out in the desert. Look at that. It is tight. It is really tight today. We can see there is a leading group, maybe 7 pilots. The first one already stopped to climb, but he didn't trust the air. It is really low. They are flying really low because the conditions are really strong, and they know. Look, they touch the point and they turn to the left. This is an amazing show, touching the point straight in front of us, and then going all the way to the left, and again onto the mountain.
Very, very beautiful what we're looking at right now. It really looks like watching Formula One cars racing on a circuit. You could really see these people going to tag the turn point and immediately turn back to the ridge to gain altitude again. again. They're still head to head. They are really close together. And we can see the course right now. You can see the group is still pretty tight together. And we will see now in the next few minutes if somebody will take advantage. Somebody has landed right now. They bombed out on the dune. So let's see if we can see it from a takeoff now. Basically, just at the end, if you look a little bit further away in this image, on that ridge, this is where the pilots are, and one of them just landed on the sand, so he has now to climb up again. He can ground handle and take off again before going on with the race. Guy, did you see something from there? Can you show us something?
Yes, it looks like probably Tanguy. It looks like Tanguy.
Or maybe Vezo? Could it be Vezo?
I don't think it's Vesto because Vesto was a little bit behind. And I think Vesto has a blue rig, blue.
Yes.
So maybe it's Tanguy. I'm not sure. I can't really see from here.
This will be a real twist today, as Tanguy is currently leading the overall ranking of the first three tasks. So if he performs good today, that will be almost a sure win. So let's see if we can see something from the road. We're a little bit too far away, but we can see some glider now in the left side of the screen. And this is the ridge where the guys are currently flying. Now the head group is heading out to turn point 3. They're a little bit low, so they will have really to use their speed bar wisely in order to be able to come back to the ridge and gain altitude again.
Into the field. They're not allowed to fly, neither to kite from the desert here. Once they get here, they sign the board, and then they need to go back up in the air. Yes, you understood well. In all of this moment, all of this difficulty, this emotion,
And for the people having struggles to find the UAE live tracking on relief maps, it is very easy because you just have to click on the little icon on the left, the icon of the UAE, and from there you will see all the pilots. And yes, Amelia, Tanguy probably still in the air. Maybe it's Nick, or maybe it is Vezo, as it was a glider, same glider as him. We are looking now from the starting place. We can see that people are getting out pretty low. Some of them might be bombing out very soon. So again, what looked like an easy and simple task is turning out like a very interesting one. And the choices that the pilots make will make a huge difference today. We're looking now at the southern part of the Al Fayah ridge. This is where the pilots are currently flying, and they will have to take 2 turn points before going back to the middle of the desert, heading out a couple kilometers away from the ridge. So they will have to make maximum altitude before heading out, and then they will have to land, sign a board, and run back again.
yeah, they repeat it one, and then they repeat. So we can see already the pilots coming from the turn point 3. There is a really interesting things happening here, because in the lead of the race, one pilot went straight up as soon as he touched the area where the Rocky are working really well with this wind. As pilot number two, we watch him disappear behind the dune, definitely landing in a nice way, but just because of his choice of altitude. So this is incredibly important. Today, take the right choices and push towards the end of the race with the right amount of altitude. Not too much, not too low. In this moment,
And we will soon see the pilots coming back from turn point 4. They will have to go back to the ridge, make maximum altitude, and then head down to reach a point a couple of kilometers out into the desert, into the sand, where they have to pack the gliders and then run back to starting point. Thank you guys for your support. It's really important for us to see that you are having fun watching at this live from Al Fayah mountain in the beautiful emirate of Sharjah. Again, the weather today is a typical winter day here in the Arab Emirates. Sunny, 30 something degrees Celsius, very, very hot in the middle of this desert. And from the road, we can see the ridge that these athletes will have to climb before heading this far out into the desert. And this is the point. You can see it is pretty far from the mountaintops, and they will have to make a really good altitude in order to come all the way to here and land and sign their first signboard today at this task 4, the last task of the UAE Hike&Fly Championship. And we can see the pilots coming back very, very low. They are trying to gain altitude again. I see what looks like Veso, Ovkarov, and Haley Schrempf struggling down on the sand. They are basically a few meters from the sand, and they are trying to gain altitude before going on with their race. We're now looking at the head group. They got as high as possible, and now they're already going out. They are trying to reach the landing point out in the middle of the desert. Some more support from Switzerland. So Emilia, thank you for your question. It might be that he had to land. Bombing out is unfortunately always an option today, as the waypoints are pretty far out into the desert. So once they get out, it might be difficult to go back in. So they will really have to calculate really well the altitude, the minimum altitude they need to keep before heading out to tag the turn points. And we're looking now at some of the pilots tagging the turn point 3. And they will then go back and land in the middle of the desert. Look at how high they are. They really managed to gain a lot of altitude, and they are trying. It's really getting interesting now, as some pilots are really walking. They are kiting on the dune. They need to take off again and gain altitude before they can go for the next turn point. We're looking at Haley Schrempf right now, passing in front of the takeoff area, and he will soon get higher again and go on with the next turn point. From the starting point, we can see some pilots that are further into the desert. They are further away from the mountain. As a starting point, they will need to land way after this big power line. And you can see them now heading out. They are very, very high. And this is really the minimum possible altitude they need to keep in order to reach the landing point in the middle desert. And we have the first guys coming in for landing. This is a beautiful moment from the desert. You can see the first guys are reaching the landing spot.
They land on the desert.
I think we have Michał Gierlach here. He's in the desert now. He's signing the board. And here we go. Beautiful. Some water and ready to start again. They can pack, or they can just put the glider in a ribbon and start again. And many pilots, look at them, look how many are now heading to the landing point. They are really coming in a close group. Some are landing further away, some are landing closer. They will then need to run to the board to sign and then run back to the starting point. Yes, Haley was really 5 meters above the ground. He bombed out, and we can see Patrick von Kannel now finding his name, signing, and going on. Stanislav Meyer as well. Very interesting race. Again, really today, the final result can be totally changed from the current overall ranking. Michael Siegel going for the sign. And we have more and more pilots coming. Look at them. Amazing, really emotional moment here in the middle of Al Fayha Desert. We can see these guys coming for landing. They really calculated well their glide ratio against the wind. Again, today the wind is pretty strong. Kriegel, the Eagle Marrer, coming now for just before him, Tommy. Tommy was literally grabbing the pen from Kriegel's hand almost and signing before him. A good strategy for these guys could be to have a very quick signature that will make you save some precious time. Really, really nice to see the guys are still pretty close together. And again, the final result is yet to be decided from the finish of today's race. So we are halfway. The guys will now have to run back to the starting point. They can then hike up or ground handle up the dune, and they will have to take off and do it all over again. And we are back on takeoff. We have some pilots who struggled on the way back, so they have to gain more altitude before heading to the landing point. Right, Guy?
Aaron Duragati just passed here. I think he was super low. Maybe he bombed out. He's getting altitude now to try to reach the landing.
Very, very good. Yes. Again, the way the task is made today can really change everything, as bombing out means losing really a lot of time. And the bombing out options are several during the course today, as basically every turn point, every cylinder of every turn point is positioned pretty far out in the desert, quite far from the mountain. And we can see the athletes will have then to run back, cross the road that we're looking now, going back to the starting point, sign the next board, and do it all over again. Very good. And we have Sepp Inninger, another one of the first pilots in the overall ranking so far, who has just tagged the turn point, the landing turn point, signed the board, and is now running back. They will need to run close to 2 kilometers into the sand, and in extreme heat. The sun is really blasting today, so these guys are roasting.
It's really tricky now because look, from the network you can see pilots running from the board. We are running. You can see, Fiore, it's getting really tricky because now the pilots are not walking, they are running. They're not packing the glider. They are just taking the glider with them, packing very quickly, not to waste any second, and they're running from the desert. This is the first time we ever see something like this into a competition. It's amazing.
And yes, it looks like a short run to the start, but with these terrain and these temperatures, it can be pretty hard as well. And we're looking now at Nicola Donini reaching the landing point. Another pilot is running just below him. We will see who will reach first. And we have Haley Schrempf now running to the signboard. He's signing his name, and Nicola is following just shortly after. Nicola just touched the ground, and it will be signing very soon. Very soon we will see the pilots passing by the starting line and then coming up the hill again, going up the dune before doing it all over again. Again, every turn point is a bombing out option because the turn points today are pretty far away from the mountain ridge. And you can see the first athletes, they're running on the road now really fast. They're sprinting to the starting line. Let's see who is first. This looks like Tommy. Looks like Tommy. And followed by Gierlach. This is definitely Michael Gierlach. More pilots coming into the turn point. Nicola Donini is now starting his run back to the starting point. And we're looking at more and more pilots crossing the street. Kriegel Maurer is jumping over these guardrails. And thank you very much for your support from everywhere in the world, guys. Maya Stanislav is also jumping over the guardrail of this big road. We have local police stopping the traffic for us today in order for these guys to make a safe crossing. And we have more pilots reaching now the landing place. It is really getting interesting now, as we can see that the group is starting to spread out along the course, and but everything is still to be decided yet, because one bomb out can mean a lot of time lost. And we have the first pilots coming to the starting place. They'll be ready to sign the second signboard before heading up to the hill again. It is Tommy Friedrich now is currently leading this task 4. He's running to the signboard. He's gonna sign, and now he will kite up again to the sand dune. Incredible. This young guy, the youngest athlete in this whole competition, from Austria, Tommy Friedrich, is running towards the hill, is now passing just in front of us here, streaming live from Al-Fayah Desert, from Al-Fayah Mountain today. Amazing performance from this young guy. He won task 1 and task 2, and he's now leading task 4. Kriegel is following shortly after. He's as well. These guys are the first 3 pilots currently leading the ranking, and it's going to be really interesting to see who will be the first one. In the meantime, we have Aaron coming to the first signboard and starting his run back to the starting point in the middle of the Al-Fayah Desert. Some more gliders coming, and this race is really on, really on at the moment. Standa coming for his signature at the starting point. From the top of the dune, we can see the athletes coming up. They will soon open their wings and kite up on the sand dune.
Kriegel is taking his time to start the kiting a little bit higher than Tommy. It's really turbulent where Tommy decided to kite. So let's see. Hey, bro!
Very good. It is turbulent on top of the hill, our Guy said. And we have Kriegel opening the glider. Tommy probably open it a little bit lower than Kriegel. We will see now what is going to happen. And Kriegel is basically off. He basically took off very low on the dune. We will see if that is enough to gain altitude. Tommy instead decided to start kiting now. He will try and climb a little bit higher on the sand dune before taking off. Kriegel is very close to the rocks now, to the ridge, and it looks like it is working. The wind is very strong today, so he's climbing quite quickly.
What a lesson Kriegel is making. It's putting here. It's crazy, man. He was flying 10 meters from the ground, and he just climbed 2 meters from the wall. Amazing flying here.
Amazing flying skills from this pilot, and again, everything is still to be decided, as everything can still happen today. Every time the athletes are going to tag a turn point, they will have a chance to bomb out. And we have now Kriegel currently leading this task 4. He just overtook Tommy, which was the first guy coming to sign number 2 at the starting place. But we can see Tommy now climbing very fast along the dune, the sand dune. He's kiting his glider. He's letting the wind doing the job for him. He's kiting up. The wind is pushing him up, and now he's ready to take off. And off he goes. He will now try and catch up Kriegel, which took off just a few seconds before him, but is already quite far north, heading to turn point 1. What an exciting race. It is definitely an exciting race. Again, we really thought it would be a simple task, and like every time, this is really surprising us again, and athletes are making all different kind of choices. And we're back on landing here. We have Stefano.
Allora, è stato un momento incredibile. It was an incredible moment because at the first the board was marked by Tommy, who already won task number 1, task number 2, and is the youngest pilot in the comp. But then, as he was running up to the mountain, to the hill, Kriegelmauer in the second position actually was able to open the glider, and he managed to take off in a faster way. So now Kriegel took the lead in a beautiful way. We saw also Patrick Boncanel coming with the line broken. It looks like a madness here. Everyone is coming, and look on the sand dune. Now they're kiting, the beautiful moment of kiting, something that we're not used to see at all. How the glider, when they're not facing up, but they're pointing somewhere here, they're used to kite and to direct this energy to be pulled onto the sand dune, not to be fly. And this is a beautiful moment. One of the other one is just going to the left. Somebody is really low. Kriegel was incredibly low, but he found the wind. The condition is there. And so we already have some distance. I think it's got fairly amount of leading Kriegel, followed by Thomas and Tommy, and everyone is following. It's a beautiful moment.
Really, really beautiful moment, the one we just witnessed. And these guys are really running. They're really going super fast on today's task. Again, the wind is pretty strong, so this makes it easier to go fast. But at the same, on the other hand, it makes it more difficult to reach far out into the desert. And we have more people coming along the road. This looks like Nicola Donini going to sign his second signboard at the starting place. And in the meantime, we have most of the athletes now. The main group is on the hill. They're trying to get up as fast as possible. We have some pilots taking off one after the other. This main group is still pretty tied up together. And yes, we had some issues with relief maps. Sorry about that, guys, but now everything is on again and working. And we can see at situation at the moment, most of the pilots are now on the sand dune going up, and we can watch this action live from our cameras around the racing course today. We're looking at Seb Ospina kiting up the hill. He will soon be airborne, trying to catch up with the others. Really, really exciting race. Everything is yet to be made, as at every turn point there is a chance of bombing out. So these guys will have to pay very, very high attention on what they're doing, on how high they're climbing. They don't have to rush too much, otherwise they will not make it to the turn points. And we're looking at Stanislav Maya now just taking off. He was leading the race, or he was among the first couple pilots at a certain point. But as you saw, everything is happening today, and the ranking is still yet to be decided. We're looking at a dune full of people. They are kiting, they are walking, they are trying to find the fastest way to get up as fast as they can. And some more pilots coming to the landing point. Yes, Guy.
We have Patrick, and then we have Tanguy, and then Michael Siegel, and then Stanislav. Now we have Sepp Inninger, Michael Girlash, and Tim Hoshas. That's the order that we have now taking off, okay?
Very, very good. Thank you, Guy. Thank you, Guy. So again, the order is being changed basically at every landing, at every takeoff, as these guys have different skills. Some of them is flying very fast. Some of them is hiking faster, is running faster. Some of them can do both. And so we will see who is going to win this fourth and last task of this beautiful event here in the Arab Emirates. And you
Now
can
we
see
have
how this. Yes, Guy.
now we have Sebo Spina coming up right beside Marcus Anders. They're both kiting up. And we see Heli, but Heli got into the cave where it's more turbulent. Sebo Spina taking off and throwing to the rock so he can find some lift really close. But I think he's already going up, so it's really good.
Very good. And today, again, the wind is slightly crossed from the north. So this means that the guys have now, for the next leg, headwind, which will make their flight definitely slower. They will need to gain more altitude before going for the turn points. And more pilots coming on the road. We can see now they will go to the starting point and they will have to sign their second board before coming up the hill, as these guys are doing. Somebody else, and we have Haley Schrempf taking off right now. He got high enough on the dune, so he is off. And we can see the wind is pretty thermic at the moment. It's not just ridge soaring here. It's not just like being on the seaside on a sand dune. This is actual mountain flying as well. We see pilots struggling with their gliders. The wind is strong. There is some good thermals, so they will really have to use all of their skills to fly fast and safe. What a race, what a race. And somebody else is coming now on the road. We have Veso Ovkarov crossing the road right now, going to the turn point at the starting space and the starting line. What a tie race. People are really following each other very, very shortly. They're all taking off one after the other, and they're heading now for the second half of this race. They will have to do the same route again, tag turn point 1, turn point 2 at the very north end of this Fayah ridge, then back to 1, 3, 4, tag the desert point, which is where they landed, but then they can fly back and land at the road. They will need to land just before the road. So this means they will need to climb higher in order to reach the desert point and fly back. Thank you again, guys, for your home support. It really means a lot for us to see you are enjoying this. And we have Nicola Donini now kiting up along the dune, the sand dune. This is one definitely of the most skilled pilots from a flying point of view. And so we will see if he still has some trick in his hand that he can use to catch up with the head group today. We're really looking at 24 among the best hike and fly and cross-country pilots in the whole world here at the UAE Hike&Fly Championship. And we see Nick running. He's using the wind to get dragged up, and he's running along with his glider super fast. Look at how fast he's running up the hill. This is really, really fast. It's effortlessly for him, as he can just use the wind to get pushed up. He's going up at crazy speed, really. Let's see, he still has a chance to catch up with the others. And from the top, we can see how Nick is running up. He's gaining altitude on this hill. He will take off in a moment. He probably also got advantage of a good moment, good wind, constant, strong, solid wind, and he's off. Let's go. He will now have to fly as fast as he can to catch up with the main group, which is just a few minutes ahead of him. I'm looking at another pilot inflating his glider just at the feet of the sand dune. And this is Aaron. This looks like Aaron Duragatti. Yes. Other pilot from Italy. And he's also climbing now above the sand dune as fast as he can. And we're back on the road. We are really running out of pilots now. Almost everybody has run back. We just missed a few lost pilots. And Aaron is also airborne right now. He just took off from the middle of the sand dune. We will see if he can manage to gain altitude. It's very low now. He really needs to get close to those rocks in order to get higher faster. And we are back in the desert now. We have some other pilots coming to sign the signboard. Internet in the desert. Yes, we do have high speed internet here in the middle of the desert. This is also the beauty of these countries where ancient and modern are mixing in a beautiful way. Very, very good. Let's go back to the dune where we have um, where we have Sorry, guys. Here we are back now, live from UAE Hike&Fly Championship. We had a slight technical issue with the internet connection. We are back up. I hope you can hear me well again, and we can go on with commenting this beautiful race today. All right, perfect. Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, and so again, we are looking now at beautiful Al Fayha mountain. This is the desert turn point where the athletes landed just a few minutes ago before running back to the starting place. And we are looking now at the last pilots reaching the second board at starting place, from where they will have to hike up or kite up the sand dune. And now the head group has headed north. They went to turn point 1 and turn point 2 again, before going all the way back to the south edge of Al Fayha Ridge and then head again out into the desert. On the second time, though, they will not have to land in the desert turn point, but they just need to tag the point, and they can come back for landing closer to the starting space, to the starting line. They will have a limit. They cannot land after the road, so they can land in the nearbys of the road and then run back to the arch. That will declare the finish of this competition and the winner, the overall winner of this UAE Hike&Fly Championship. Thank you again, guys, for your great support from all over the world. We're really happy to see this. And we still have Nick Nayans coming to the desert turn point, the first landing spot, where he's now signing the board. No, it was not a sandstorm eating the cell phone towers. Luckily, the weather is pretty nice today here in the desert. Very sunny, pretty warm, above 30 degrees Celsius, which makes it very hard for these guys to run today in the sand. But the wind is a solid 30 kilometers per hour wind, and this will make it quite easy for the guys to fly fast today. Stefano.
Ok. Qui per aggiornamenti dall'atterraggio abbiamo appena visto Kriegel sorvolare le nostre teste, adesso rivolgersi verso il Tour Point 3. Allora, Fiore, we are now back on landing place because we are just testimonying Kriegelmauer flying all the way above our heads and then moving towards Tour Point 3 with a huge amount of leading distance between him and the following pack. Definitely today looks like Kriegel is doing a different sport. Again, he's going really strong. He really wants to win. And in this moment, it's incredible. We also see the last pilots coming to sign the board. So really big, massive difference between pilots number 1 and pilots number 2. Look at this.
Very, very good, Stefano. This is crazy. We're looking now at some more athletes coming to sign the second board. That's Tom Payne, and he will now hike up the hill and take off again. In the meantime, as Tom is signing the board, Kriegel is leading and is directed now to turn point 3 in the far south end of the beautiful Al Fayha mountain range. You can see this now from relief maps. We are looking at the beautiful 3D reconstructions. You can see the head group has tagged now turn point 1 on their way back, and they're heading now to turn point 3, which is further south. They have been racing for more than an hour already now, and they are more than halfway. Basically, the whole group now has completed the first half of the race, and they are going for the second half of it. Yes, Ski, we are here.
So we see here Kriegel already getting some altitude to be able to touch the turn point 3 again. And then as soon as he touches, he will turn around and get close to the mountain to go to the far south of the mountain and then directly before landing. So he's really showing his last post on Instagram that today you don't even you don't only need to fly, you really need to fly your best. That's what he's doing today.
It definitely is a hike and fly race. It's not just about the hiking today. It is a lot about the technical flying. They really need to climb fast and they really need to fly as fast as they can. And getting too high means losing time, but not getting high enough means to have a chance of bombing out, which means losing even more time
Turn
to hike
around,
back.
touch and go right in top of me.
Nice, very good. We saw Kriegel touching turn point 3, and he's now going to turn point 4 at the very far south end of the mountain range in front of us.
Now it's Tommy
You,
here. Tommy
you,
coming around the same altitude that Krigo did, maybe a little bit lower, but I'm sure he will be able to fly back to the mountain and regain altitude. In third place, we have Stanislav Meyer, Mikhail Girlash, and Tanguy flying side by side towards the turn point.
amazing race today. Everything can still happen. These guys are still pretty close together, so we will see now what is going to happen. And the points in the current leading in the current ranking are also very close. So even just from a second to a fourth position or a fifth position can make a difference in the overall final ranking. So we're really looking forward to see what is going on in the next few minutes. And from the road, we have another beautiful look at the gliders flying out of the ridge. They are going to tag turn point 1 and then going back to the ridge to tag turn point 3.
Promote the paragliding flight here, but also to win. Not only the first prizes, but they're here for the glory. This is a very historical moment. This might be the moment that everybody was waiting for in the UAE Hike&Fly Championship.
So there we have it. Stanislav Meyer, Mikhail Girlash, and Tanguy in fifth place. Really tight race.
Very tight race, and we remind you that Tanguy is currently leading the overall ranking from the first 3 days. He has just 1 point from Tommy Friedrich and Kriegel Maurer that are currently leading today together. Kriegel first and Tommy second. So we will see, depending on what we're going to see in the next few minutes, we're going to see the overall winner. But we also have a very good performance today from Stanislav Meyer, currently 9th position. He will definitely climb this ranking today. And we're looking at the overall ranking from the first 3 days right now. But let's go back to the desert where we can see Antoine Girard coming to sign his first turn point. He definitely has bombed out somewhere during the first half of the route, and this is the risk today. By going that far from the ridge, if you bomb out, you have to run back, and that is taking definitely a very long time.
And we have Nick Nayans here now crossing the road, starting his last turn. Nick Nayans here.
Very good. We are looking at Nick Nayans. Nick Nayans, he just signed the first turn point and is now going to the start to sign his second board before doing the second round of today's task 4. Good mood at the starting point. People are laughing. They are having a great time, and we are waiting for the pilots to come back for the final run to the arch that will see the first guys of today. And back on relief maps, we are looking at the race going on. We just saw Kriegel hitting turn point 3 and going back to the ridge to go for turn point 4.
Will win his task number 4 of the UAE Hike&Fly Championship. Amazing.
What a race today. Really, really full of surprises. We have had many overpasses. So really will be a real surprise to see who is going to win this task today and how the overall ranking of this beautiful championship here in the United Arab Emirates. We go back to Guy in the middle of the road. He's looking at the pilots flying just above his head.
Come on, we're here. Super good race, huh? I think we did a good test. That's Patrick just hitting the turn point. No, it's Step, I think. Hitting the turn point and going straight. Yeah, Patrick is in the front, and this is Step Iniger going back to the mountain. And I can see already on the far distance, people touch the turn point and they're already going back to the mountain to be able to climb again and touch turn point 3 and finish the race.
This is really, really beautiful today. We are just looking at the pilots coming back very low from turn point 1, and they are back to the mountain. They're going to hit turn point 3 very, very soon. The leading group is already coming back from turn point 4, so they will now need to make maximum altitude before heading into the middle of the desert and going back for landing. After that, the race will not be over, as they will need to run through the finish arch. Very, very good. We are looking at the dune right now, and there are a few pilots hiking, ground handling up. Some are soaring, gaining altitude before going for the next turn point. Looking south, I'm looking at what I think is Kriegel Maurer coming back north before going to head for the final turn point. So within minutes, we will see who is going to win this task number 4 of this UAE Hike&Fly Championship.
Kriegel is making really hard for the others, for sure, Fiore.
We know he can do that. We know he can do that. He already did some magic today. He overpassed everybody else on the dune by taking off a little bit lower and still being able to climb really, really fast. We can see now pilots on the dune are struggling a little bit. Yes, Guy, you're pointing at Kriegel right now. He's coming back from the turn point 4. He needs to make maximum altitude and go tag the desert turn point before coming back for landing and running through the finish arch. But we're looking at the dune again. Some pilots are struggling to get altitude there. The wind is pretty much crossed, so they really need to choose their position wisely in order to take advantage of the wind and go up. We saw one guy just touching down. He just took off a minute ago and he tried to gain altitude without success. So he's now going to kite up again and try to reach the others. Incredible race today. Thank you again, guys, for your support. Very good. And thank you, Emilia, as always, for your help. You're saying Paddle is second, which is possible. He was in the head group, so it is very, very tight now. I'm looking at Kriegel. I'm looking at Tommy coming just above the dune, so they will very soon try and go and hit the desert turn point before going for landing. You can see there is. We're looking at Nick Nanens now, getting his gear ready, starting to climb up the hill. He's gonna ground handle. He's gonna use the wind to get pushed up and run up as fast as he can before taking off. Very, very beautiful images here from Al Fayah Desert. And just above their heads now, we're looking at Tommy Friedrich flying towards the final turn point. This is not a beautiful thing about this place. The race court is really small, and so we can actually look at the action live from many different points. And we are looking at Antoine Girard now walking back to the starting line where he has then to start again. Unfortunately, we can't hear him as the mic is not activated, but we are looking at him walking on the road. We are looking at Kriegel, Stefano. Looking now at Aaron landing on the dune, and he's climbing straight up again. He was coming back very, very low. He didn't make it back to the ridge. He had to land, but he landed right on the dune. Didn't even put the glider down, and he's now climbing up with the wind. He's ground handling up, and he's overpassing Nick Nayans, who is preparing his stuff on the ground. Great move from Aaron Duragatti from Italy. He really took over a couple pilots like this. And we're back in the desert where we are looking at Kriegel currently leading this task 4. He's tagging turn point desert, and he will then go back for landing close to the road.
Fiore, we
yes,
have a change. Stanislav, he took a shorter route, and he's now in first place. Kriegel, there, Stanislav passed here. You see Tanguy, Mikko Gierlash, and Michael Siegel cutting the shorter distance, and they are going to tag the last turn point, and they passed Tommy, and Kriegel is going really low to tag the last turn point, but Stanislav Meyer is in front now, already coming for the last landing, super fast. So big change.
Incredible. What an incredible race today. We are really looking at magic happening. Everything is still everything can still change. Look at Stanislav now, and look at he's coming really fast.
Coming for landing.
Nice, very good. And these three guys, they are really going fast, but they are very high as well. So they might have to lose some time to land. So we have Stanislav currently leading this task 4. What a twist! Incredible. This was a really interesting task today, and he landed now on the road. We're going to look at his final run to the finish line.
Come, Stanislav!
Great job, Stanislav. Well done.
Really windy. He did like a crash in the road, but he's managed to be in first place, so he just needs to run now, while the other guys are coming for landing. Kriegel just landed here too.
And we're looking at Kriegel now in second position. He landed it. It is pretty windy. You can see how windy it is, how their gliders are moving with the wind as they try to collect.
Kriegel and Stanislav on the run now.
And Kriegel just overtook Stanislav. Amazing. Stanislav landed first, but Kriegel was faster to collect his glider in a ribbon, and is now rushing to the finish line. Let's go to the finish line. We will see very soon Kriegel and Stanislav. We will see who is going to go first. Crazy race today. Really amazing. Let's see what's happening. We will see the guys coming very fast now through the finish line. Please, Stefano, if you hear me, film the finish line. Amazing. We're looking at Kriegel running. He's really sprinting to the finish line. What a race. This can still change everything, but we're looking at the Kriegel probably winning this first edition of the UAE Hike&Fly Championship. What a moment. This is the moment really everybody was waiting for. Kriegel is currently second in the overall ranking at just 1 point from the first one, who is Tanguy. So if he gets first and Tanguy doesn't get second, we will have an official overall winner already. This is the moment. Kriegel is taking his time. Stanislav is probably far behind, so Kriegel is really taking his time to cross the finish line. Look at him, the master, Kriegel, the Eagle Maurer. But Stanislav is coming coming behind him, and he's letting him go. He's letting Stanislav pass because he knows that this will not change anything for him. So Stanislav is running to the finish line. Look at him right now. What a race. What a race. Stanislav going through the gate, and he is winning the task number 4 of the UAE Hike and Fly Championship. We'll
Krieger!
look at
Krieger! Krieger!
where is Kriegel going. He got in a brain lock. He got confused maybe.
Krieger!
And Tommy and this is Tanguy coming. It's Tanguy coming. Incredible. Incredible. Kriegel got confused and he was not running through the gate. So he's letting the other guy pass in front of him. This is amazing. What a twist. Amazing. So Tanguy came second and he was just followed by a third pilot, by Michael Gerlach. Amazing. You can see how close these guys are coming through the finish gate. What happened here? This is unbelievable. Amazing. Kriegel had the victory in his hands, literally. We will really try and understand what is going on here, what happened here with Kriegel. Really, really amazing.
I don't know. Maybe he didn't touch the turn point. That's the only thing I can imagine. Maybe he didn't touch the turn point.
This could be. That would be really, really a bad mistake, as he was really leading the group today for the whole day. He really did magics. And now
Patrick
at the
Volcano arriving now.
nice. We're looking at all the pilots now.
Patrick!
And Patrick is crossing the finish line, taking the very, very deserved greet from the crowd here. Cheers from the people. Very, very good mood today at this task number 4. We are finishing very beautifully this incredible. Nick Tonini is running to the finish gate. He also did a very, very nice race today. Was very far back at the beginning, but he managed to gain a lot of positions in the ranking. So we will see how this will affect the final overall ranking of this beautiful competition. Amazing, amazing. Well done, guys. This is really, really crazy. We still have to get the more precise information about Kriegel Maurer and what happened to him and why he did stop. Seb Ospina
arriving. Yeah. Passing a lot of people during flight on the last run.
Amazing how things have changed in the last part of the task again. This is really crazy. Once again, we thought it would be an easy and straightforward task, and these pilots showed us that this was definitely not the case, as we saw amazing overpassing. Where is Tommy? Tommy already arrived, I think. Tommy should be already past the finish line.
Now we have Sepp Iniger arriving from Switzerland.
Oh
Sepp Iniger.
What have happened here? True, this is a very good question. We still don't know what happened to Kriegel Maurer. Probably he missed.
I think Kriegel didn't touch the turn point. Probably.
Yes, this is possible, and this might be the reason why he had to go on with his race. And yeah, he's actually back up on the dune. He's probably gonna finish the race. He's taking off again, and he wants to finish the task, trying to save as many positions as possible. There are still athletes that are racing, so Kriegel has still a chance to gain a little bit of points for this final ranking. We're looking at Sepp Iniger now, getting a sip of water after this tremendous race. The treacherous weather conditions are really having a blast on these guys. The guys are roasting today in the desert sand. Well done, Sepp. Great support from home.
Nobody was knowing what was is amazing. For the first time, we are able to discover these beautiful places in the world. And now nobody really wants to go back. Oh, yeah. Thank you, everyone. And we're going to update you very soon on what's happening in the past.
And here comes Tommy Friedrich.
Tommy Friedrich.
And where is Tommy? Here is Tommy. So again, really amazing race today. Everything has changed many times during the task. It was really great to see these pilots taking different decisions, bombing out, climbing up again, flying faster, and this is really amazing. The task today was really interesting. We can see just very happy, smiling faces. These pilots did have a great time today, I'm sure. Really amazing day. Guy, do you want to ask some impressions from the pilots as you have them?
Yes. Stanislav. I'm here with Stanislav.
Yes, remember to hand the microphone from the headphones so we can hear that good.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you very well.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, Stanislav, tell me, last minute you took a different path. Instead going in the mountain, you cut straight to the turn point. How was that?
Yeah, the last part, I think I somehow gain and get a lot of cross country competitions which I had. So I take the opportunity to go straight, and I felt the air is going up, so it was kind of thermal, and I gained a lot of altitude in that, and then I was, I guess, maybe higher and in a great position. So it was then it was almost clear that I will be in front, but I thought someone was in front with me, so I didn't expect I'm first. I thought I will be on podium, but not first. So I'm even more.
What about the landing there on the road, huh?
And the landing was horrible because in the last time I decided to turn to be closer to the flags, and it was bad decision. And I'm happy that
Nothing happened.
Nothing happened because
Congratulations.
yeah, but at the end, I was feeling that I'm going close. So I put a lot of brakes and I stalled the glider at the last moment. So I think it a little bit saved me. And yeah, the last part was bad. I did a wrong landing calculations.
Number one in the day, that's what's important.
Yeah.
Congrats, bro.
Most important, safe. Yeah.
Exactly.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Very good words from Stanislav. Most important is to be safe, and this is really what we're all looking for today. Looks like some did extra lap, Alex is pointing out. It's probably because they missed the turn point or they bombed out and they had to go back up again on the dune. So this is why you might be seeing people going all over again, because if they bomb out, they had to run back to the dune, get up again, kiting and flying off.
Lagi.
How was it?
Mashallah, good. Alhamdulillah.
Good race, huh?
Allah, good race.
Nice.
It's almost died.
Brother, I'm here with Nasser. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes, how are you, brother? Good.
Tell me, what did you think about the race?
It's amazing. Really, pilots should be like fit and should be have more control on the canopy. Mashallah, they did a great job. Alhamdulillah. Thanks God. Thanks the team to organize this competition. Inshallah, I wish next year more bigger. Thank you.
Thank you.
Perfect.
Thank you very much.
Great race. Everyone safe. We have Heli Shrimp arriving now.
And Heli is cutting the finish line right now. Very good to everybody who is asking for the final ranking. Yes, we will prepare the ranking as soon as possible for this task 4, and the overall ranking will be published in very short time. And we are looking at the course right now. Really, most of the athletes have tagged the last turn points. They are heading to the last turn point and then for the landing. So very, very soon we will see all the pilots crossing the finish line.
I'm here with Michael Girlash.
Hey,
How was your race, bro?
it was really good. In the end, I came, I think, third. So pretty good result. Really fast racing, bit of mixing in the front. Krieger was leading, but as far as I know, he didn't touch one turn point. And yeah, I had really good beginning of the race. Came first here on this on the farthest desert turn point, but then I made a mistake. I took off too low here
Yeah.
on the dune.
Yeah.
I tried once and I had to run again, hike up a little bit more, and I lost like 1-2 minutes. So, but still on the third position, so I'm super happy.
Congrats, bro.
Thank you.
Yeah. From Poland, Michael Girlash, third position. So good. Yeah. Lots
Very,
of
very
changes
good.
today.
Yes, we have changes today, and this will affect the final ranking of this competition. And we're looking at the one more pilot just landing. This looks like Veso Ovkarov. He just landed on the road, and he's going to run now to the finish line. And here's somebody else running to the finish line again. This is Aaron Duragati hiking, walking to the finish line. We have Veso running. We will see if he will overtake Aaron just a few meters before the arrival. So who won the competition? It's yet to be said because we have to make the calculations of the all the task points, and we will publish it very, very soon as everybody has crossed the finish line. We're looking at the next athlete coming to the finish. Veso is crossing the road. Somebody else is landing now. Aaron is walking to the finish line. What a race! What a race! We really saw everything happening today. Many changes in the ranking. Kriegel has taken the lead and has held the lead for a long time, but apparently he missed a turn point. So once he landed and he was ready to win the competition, he just realized that and had to go back up again. So he probably didn't tag the desert turn point before landing. And again, Aaron slowly walking to the finish line. He probably knows that there's nobody close behind him. And so he's taking his time in this extreme heat, way over 30 degrees Celsius, very dry air today here in the Al-Fayah desert. And we see Aaron crossing the line. And yes, Emilia, you kind of ruined our little surprise. But if Tanguy has marked all the turn points, which will be now soon clarified, he will be the official winner of this competition. And he won, he was leading the current ranking before today, and he got second just after Stanislav. We will soon see the next athlete crossing the finish line. And again, just happy faces and big smiles at the finish line today. People are happy. They really had a lot of fun. And we can see Kriegel soaring the dune.
Arriving now. Game over, man.
And Veso is crossing the finish line right now. Veso Ovkarov from Bulgaria. Great race from him. His first race of this kind, actual hike and fly adventure race.
Stop with the first turn point out. I thought it's a landing area, and then for me, it was over. Too many points, not good for the head. I am straight to fly, very long distance straight.
Not like a mosquito in
or
the
to
room.
do loops.
Yeah. Destroyed, man. From the
It
speed
definitely
bar, from the
was.
line, speed bar rubbing, lines, no oxygen. Excellent challenge. Cheers, bro.
An actual challenge.
Yeah.
It definitely was a challenge today, as the task was not simple. Many turn points the athletes had to do, many laps. We're looking at the
Now,
next one coming. Set
from
Set Ospina.
Switzerland.
No, sorry, Mishi Witsu from Switzerland crossing the finish
Water,
line now.
Mishi. Water. Pasta.
And bisschen Wasser for Mishi. A
Yeah.
little bit of water just after this
How was it?
final sprint.
It was good. Today I flew very conservative. Hated with time, but after my incident, so I didn't want anymore. And it was okay.
Nice.
Still in the quarry, very low.
Yeah.
And some Nick, he had to land.
Really?
Beans, yeah. So the problem, we didn't eliminate for coming back to the quarry, with that.
Yeah.
But the others here, I think they're good. Because when you come back here, you have a dune.
Yeah.
It's not dangerous.
Yeah.
But when you come back to the quarry,
Yeah.
Oh, but it was nice. Nice flying.
Nice, bro. Congrats.
Aspetta,
Siamo live? Sì. Sì, sì.
Ok, ottimo.
Audio.
Ottimo. I'm here with the winner of the day from Czech Republic, Stanislav. How was this task number 4?
I think much more safe for all of us. So we flew a different style than third one. So a lot of flying in the flats, and for me it was about catching good lines. So I catched a lot of good lines, especially at the end. So I was highest, and I get a great position. So at the end, my experiences from cross country competitions pays off, because then I knew kind of now it's time to push. So I catched the last turn point first, and then not so good landing, maybe kind of horrible landing for me, but nothing happens for me, so it's good. And then I finish, and I was surprised and first at the end.
So overall, what do you think about this first edition of UAE Hike&Fly Championship?
Yeah, I really enjoyed the first and especially second task, and at the end the fourth task too. And third was kind of not so good for me. So yeah, but I really like this competition. I hope it will be next edition, and maybe see us once again next year.
Amazing. So thank you so much for coming, and keep pushing. And we can wait to see you back in the UAE. Thank you so much.
Thank you too. See you.
So we have Alex Villa flying here. Still.
And we still have the last pilots hitting the turn point in the desert, and then going for landing at the street before going back running through the finish line. Lots of support again from everywhere in the world. Thank you guys for watching this and for following this live. We will very soon have the official final overall ranking of this first edition of the UAE Hike&Fly Championship. And we're looking at Kriegel Maurer now. He is flying towards the finish. We will really wondering, we will see what happened to him. We will now ask him what happened during this race and why he decided to, or he had to go back and tag the turn point again, maybe. So, sì, tu che stai parlando del telefono puoi chiederlo anche tu se vuoi, se mi senti. Grazie mille. Chiedigli come è successo.
Trigger, what happened? All good? What happened, brother? You decided to have some fun on the dune? Huh? You decided to have some fun on the dune?
Yes.
Ah, good.
So you didn't see the paint or just want to go through it?
I don't do it.
Too loud. Okay. Well,
Really interesting
yeah,
decision.
uh, sorry, and
Interesting decision here from Kriegel Maurer. Apparently, he decided not to cross the finish line, and he went for some fun on the dune.
anyway, everybody really was super helpful, super caring about us. They were taking care of everything for us, and the beautiful location they have. This is something that I've never been experiencing before, or such a beautiful location altogether. So we definitely are gonna look forward now to do the ceremony awards, and then everybody is projecting the vision onto next year edition, make it even more interesting, more fun, more safe, for sure, and everybody will enjoy that. Everybody cannot wait to come back in the beautiful place of UAE.
Very, very good, interesting move from Kriegel. He was definitely the best of today. And we're back on the road. We are waiting for the last pilots to come there and for the last pilots. We're waiting for the last pilots to come. And yes, they already landed and now they are running back to the finish line. Lots of fun for these people. We are looking at some of them getting back up on the dune. They want to have more fun after the race. After all, these are the best 24 among the best pilots in the whole world. So we are back at the finish line. We will shortly see more people coming, more people arriving, and in no time we will have the final overall ranking of this UAE Hike and Fly Championship. We're looking at Marcus Anders. He's walking along the road, going back to the finish line.
Okay.
And I found it in the fucking sandpit. But I'm probably last, so I don't care.
But you're here. Yeah. The last is good.
And we're looking at Marcus Anders, apparently not really happy about his performance today. He was probably expecting to be to keep up the pace with the head group, but we will see him crossing the finish line shortly. And Mike is saying, please remind me to never buy a wing that's been flown in this competition. Well, I would make this advice a little bit wider. I would suggest never to buy a hike and fly wing which was flown in any hike and fly competition, as these pilots are really taking the maximum performance out of these machines in every environment. So they are really, really going to use their gliders a lot. And again, I'm looking right in front of me at the dune, and most of the pilots are having fun there. They went up, they took off, and now they're just playing and soaring on with these beautiful conditions. The wind has dropped down a little bit, just to make it really, really fun now to play on the dune and to fly. What an amazing race today. It was really, really interesting to see all of these guys taking different choices, bombing out and overpassing each other. And then this incredible move of Kriegel at the end that decided not to cross the finish line. We will further investigate why that and what his thoughts were in that moment, why he decided not to officially win this competition, even if he actually had the chance to do it. So this will be really interesting to see. And but we saw Stanislav Meyer winning this task 4, followed by Tanguy, which is also the overall winner, as he was currently leading the overall ranking before today. And so we will very soon publish the official final ranking of the UAE Hike&Fly Championship 2021 in the United Arab Emirates. We've seen really crazy things during this week, and this was the fourth and last day here in the United Arab Emirates. So if you want to be updated on what's going on today, be sure to follow our Instagram account at UAE Hike&Fly Championship, where we publish a very good quality content about this race, and as well all the latest news, including the final overall ranking of this race. Very good. So we kind of ran out of active cameras here. So basically, this is going to be the end of today's stream. We will very shortly publish the final overall ranking on Instagram. So make sure to go check out the page and the Instagram account, and you will find the the overall definitive ranking of this UAE Hike&Fly Championship. But apart from that, thank you very much, guys, for watching this live. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your interaction in the comments. That was really a fun event for all of us to organize. And we really hope to come back here next year and do it all over again. So really enjoy the rest of your day, and see you soon on a next event. Thank you, everybody, and see you next time.